Yeah, although I had written the feature film first. So that had already been in development for a couple of years with Screen Ireland, and they then advised strongly that I should go make a short film before I tried and make a feature as a first-time filmmaker. So it was the best bit of advice because it sort of really primed me for the feature experience. So we went off and with Hazel did a tiny little 2-day shoot and did the short film, which then got the feature green lit. Yeah.
And so just as you already kind of had the script in mind, how rigorously did you stick to that during filming?
For the feature film?
Yeah.
I mean, it was the shooting script was the shooting script. It didn't really change a huge amount throughout the shoot. There was maybe a few instances where we might have tweaked a bit of dialogue along the way, or the cast were great at sort of just very much making it their own as well. So I don't think I was too rigid about the dialogue itself. I think we got quite sort of fluid with it, but the story didn't change at all.
And where would you say the inspiration for Kathleen Is Here came from?
Well, I was initially when I started writing it, like 10 odd years ago, it was a slightly different story, but it was still thematically dealing with a lot of the same issues, but primarily mother-daughter relationships and grief and isolation and the need to connect. But it wasn't until I came across a vlog of an American teenager who was in foster care at the time, and she was being very open with her experiences of what that was like, and I was really taken by that need to connect in that way as well, which sort of brought in the whole idea of reality TV and how somebody with her experiences was sort of trying to deal with living a life that was similar to somebody who was, a Kardashian type figure, and that crossover, and also looking at how people present themselves to the world with what's really going on in their own life, I thought was really interesting. So it was sort of a combination, I think, of watching the likes of the Kardashians and then watching this young adult who's going through the foster system, trying to sort of find her way in life.
And so I saw the film. I thought it was amazing. At parts I was laughing. At parts I was about to cry, but I had a meeting right after, and I had mascara. But
just push it all down. Yeah, do that later.
Yeah. But were there parts where you were writing, or even when you were filming, where you felt like, no, I just need to take a couple minutes, that it's a bit too heavy?
I think there was maybe one day where we had a really intense scene coming up, and Eva knew exactly what to do, I think. Like, I don't know how you did, you just knew that I needed like a moment to myself, that it was going to be something that had to be shot maybe a couple of times. And it was I don't know, how did you know?
Well, I
you know what I'm talking
about. As an actor, I do, yeah. And I think it's that, I could have got it wrong, of course, but I always feel if I'm doing very emotional scenes, I've only got enough in the tank to do it a few times. Yeah. So I didn't want to have to ask you to do it too many times, because it's hard. It's hard to do it, and I sort of feel like sometimes maybe you lose something the more you do it, but I'm sure there's a really good argument as to if you keep pushing somebody that you can have them on the floor. But I don't think that's healthy, and I think you have to be careful and mindful of what you're asking of your actors. I've done it enough times where you feel like, and now we're going to go again. It's just like, oh my God, I can't do this for any longer. You just feel completely wrung out, And so I think if you can avoid that, it's probably, but still get what you need in those first few takes, then I think that's the way to go.
And that was a particularly difficult one as well for you guys, because it was all shot in one take. And
it was one take, yeah.
Slowly going down the corridor to meet Kathleen as she's like...
in the mother's bedroom.
Exactly,
and yeah, that's very true. It was one take, so
there was a lot riding on, I think.
Yeah,
keeping it together.
Yeah.
And erupting.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
And just as you mentioned about, obviously we all know that you're an actress, but how are you able to be an actress, a writer, a director? Like, would you have any tips to anyone who wants to be as multifaceted as you?
Well, I think because I came from an acting, background and have been doing it so many years, I think that's what sort of enabled me maybe to get to this point. Because I didn't do film school, I didn't sort of, do any courses on directing, but I think I just picked all that up as I went over the years. And then I think it's sort of, to be honest, I'm just sort of figuring that out as well, when I should do what. And at the moment, it's sort of falling into place quite nicely. Well, I'll do Bad Sisters, and then I'll, direct the film. But it sort of took a while for that all to kind of present itself to me. It took a while to get the film off the ground. But I think it all happened in the right way now that I'm sort of, retrospectively. But sort of looking forward, it's just like, I've got 2 young kids. It's like I probably, realistically can't direct full time, because it just takes up so many hours and so much of your time. So if I can just balance it somehow with, doing acting gigs, and then the lovely thing about writing is that you can do it at home and you can work around the kids, in your own life and stuff. So I suppose it's just a bit sort of trial and error and figuring out what suits the individual, and I think that probably varies from person to person.
Yeah. I think my final question, just as social media is such a huge part of the film, are there any social media trends that either of you are obsessed with at the moment?
I literally can't answer that. I'm the world's worst with social media. I'm not on anything. So that's over to you now.
I just recently deleted Instagram.
Did you?
And I've never been on TikTok. I'm really loving the trend of deleting Instagram. That's amazing. I think that's been great for everyone who's done it. Yeah.
And do you feel like you're better off?
Yeah. I downloaded it last night again because I had to post something.
You see, it's
no,
necessary.
but being off of it is so, I don't know, it's so healthy. I don't even think about it anymore. I sound like I'm addicted to something.
Well, I think it is highly addictive.
Yeah.
I think probably, that's the thing.
Yeah. I try and make all the content that I do consume is something very healthy. So even if it's like the algorithm is like, oh, she likes this and this and this, at least it's like very wholesome stuff. There's one particular Instagram account that I love called We Love You. And anybody who's going through a hard time, have a look.
Oh, really?
At
That's
that one.
nice.
Oh, wow. It's beautiful.
I've never heard of that before. I'll look that up.